This week, we travel into America's heartland to the dynamic town of Emporia, Kansas. Here sits an enormous and technical course, a challenge unlike any on tour, one that reflects the volatile nature of spring on the prairie.
A tornado watch.
Oh no.
Brutal roll from the wind. Oh my goodness.
These are hilarious shots to me.
Wow. I love this. Look at this bounce.
Anti-skip. Oh, that guy was getting beamed.
And it'll certainly be windy, but how windy?
And at Champions Landing, this unpredictability leads to opportunity. In Emporia, no lead is safe. It's time for players to find the perfect line on the winds of the Cyclone State. The 2024 Dynamic Disc Open starts now.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Emporia, Kansas for round one, front nine coverage of our feature card here at the 2024 Dynamic Discs Open. Stop 7 of 18 on the Disc Golf Pro Tour season, firmly in the middle of the season now, and we are off to one of the windiest places on tour.
Yeah, I mean, we've become accustomed to coming here to Emporia every single year, and at this point, we know what to expect. You hit it on the nose.
That's right.
Windy and some lightning delays, but we know it's going to be windy.
Yeah, that's right. Even on the calmest day, you're going to get gusts in the 15 to 20 mile an hour range at this time of the year. You know, early spring, middle of the country, open woods. But we've got Andrew Presnell, our newest major champion, Ricky Wysocki, and it's just missing the two of us for having our practice round rerun. Oh, Albert Tamm, all right, we're out.
Dang it.
Got the
But sweet. Dang it, but sweet.
Yeah, dang it, but sweet. Albert Tamm, the bazooka. Awesome to have a player with big forehand and backhand. And speaking of big forehand, backhand, we have got the defending champion, Parker Welck, out here looking to do something incredible. An unprecedented winner, has won this event a few times. I won't say unprecedented, a surprising winner.
Yeah.
Think back to Cam Todd in 2015. And I think of Parker Welck last year. And here we go.
Hole 1, par 5, 1,224 feet. This is going to be the same as years past, just with one change. Out of bounds right, out of bounds left the whole entire way. And then this little patch area right here is actually safe this year. So what you would do before is try to land something, skip off of there. And I think they're just take that away to give people a little more aggressive run, I think.
I like it.
Second shots. Ricky, obviously, the local legend, being Dynamic Disc sponsored player. He is their star player with all accounts.
Ton of media obligations, and yeah, did our intro today.
Yeah, and also not only that, but won a world championship here. So he's got a lot of great experience on this.
A lot of history.
We said that last week.
Mm-hmm. A lot of applause for Andrew getting so much well-earned attention after the amazing performance last week. Very similar course as Northwood and the Champions Landing.
Complete opposites, actually, but
It would be interesting to see how he competes on an open course after seeing him just shred lines with his drone and his flippy fairway drivers all week.
one of my favorite players to watch is Albert Tamm with the effortless distance both sides.
One of my favorite players to play with, too. He is just an absolute joy.
I mean, look at this. This is going a lot farther than those other two.
Of the bombers that we know of on tour, he easily has the slowest, most controlled run-up. Same for his forehand.
Defending champion from Scottsdale, Arizona, Parker Welck.
And speaking of booming forehand, this guy got an eagle on the 975-foot par 5 hole 14 going forehand last year. And he's the kind of guy who likes to attack hole 8 and 2, the other par 5. I mean, this guy's forehand does not match his frame.
This has got to Oh, that's going to be perfect now.
That was flirting with that wide, upright juniper.
And this leaking a little bit, but should dig just fine over there on that right side. Yeah, a good 5 feet left.
Where would you guess, without having the information in front of you, where this hole lands in terms of difficulty?
Today, I mean, typically it's one of the easier holes that we play, but today I would say fourth.
Fourth easiest?
Fourth hardest.
It was the third hardest, which I would have never guessed. Even that it's 1224, it's just so open. And it was very surprising to see it actually play 0.32 over par. And that right there is not a good start for getting the birdie. Completely unable to get to the green on his next shot as Parker.
So, Jerm, you're doing double commentary duty this week. And
Double duty.
Double duty. And that's probably, if you played this hole today, you would understand why it played that. It played
Talk
that
to
hard.
us.
It was a sustained right to left cross, which is the hardest one to control. You don't know if it's going to lift or if you turn it over. It's definitely, see this one hold out there?
Okay.
It's not wanting to really come back.
Oh, and it does, though. It fights back a little bit, but he is in that old OB pill area where that old driving range used to be, but he'll be safe. And so he'll have a C2 look, maybe a shallow C2 look for the birdie. And all Parker's able to do there is just pitch out. Albert lining up the forehand, probably in the 350 range. Look how easy he makes that look. And just with the soft ground, the big hyzer play is going to check up well today. So something to try to play for if you have that. And this is more of the sweeping hyzer that should skip and roll a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit different. See how Albert went up high, it stalled and hit on that knife edge? It's able to collect in the ground a lot better that way. Parker leaves this one short. Very short. That's in the 50-foot range short. And this is a scary putt to have for par on the first hole. There you go.
Yeah.
And that's that difficult wind coming into play. And Ricky off the top. That scoots a little long. That'll be a 25 to 28 foot comebacker putt. And look at that one.
Picking up where he left off last week with a nice little putt right on the stripe. A little high, but...
His first putt as an official major champion is in from 35 feet. And Parker is going to start off with a double bogey. No OB, double bogey. Difficult thing to do.
Kind of a nightmare start, honestly.
And that didn't even think about it. It didn't even think about it. That was just too high, a little too much pace. And look at that. That's the reward for throwing a very smart play, I'd say, with the big hyzer stall shot for the sidearm. Albert netted himself a tap-in birdie, and just like that, Parker starts off with a double, and Ricky Wysocki, one of my favorite players out here at this event, coming into the event, he's got a couple podium finishes in a row. He's got a lot of history out here, and he's just really connected with the whole scene, and he starts his tournament off with a bogey. And did you see AJ Carey started off with a 3 on hole 1 from 455 feet, it's listed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
450?
455. Let's give them all
The
what
extra,
they gave him.
yeah.
If they actually ranged it, it got 455.
I'm
That's
just wondering
incredible.
what he did with those other 2 shots.
I know.
Must have been like a bush and then a chip out.
Totally. I've played the hole before where I grounded my second shot and I had about 450 in.
Yeah.
But I don't know how he did it.
And Presnell going with the flippy roller, and he plays that perfectly.
I love it.
Really a great play on this hole. I never even really thought about it because it's always a different wind here and there. And today I watched Isaac Robinson just throw an absolute dart with the roller. This is your traditional play, low, skipping sidearm, and that'll be just fine.
Yeah, it's a good play when you have wind as calm as we have right now. You're going to see the trees moving from side to side occasionally throughout the day, but for the most part, we're looking at 5 to 10 mile an hour winds, and that feels like nothing in comparison.
I don't think that's right. I think it...
For the most part. It gusted up to 20 at certain points.
I don't remember it being ever 5 mile an hour.
Are you saying even lighter than that?
No, like... look at those flags over there. There's a constant wind out here. It's just in a helpful way. I feel like
you know better than I do. I was just getting reports from Brian on the ground, and he was just reporting that it was soft. But if you're saying it was gusty,
in the shade, right next to the trees.
And Ricky with a good tee shot. Albert up first on the approach. It's looking pretty decent. This should get inside the circle.
Yeah. Now there is like lulls, like in this spot, how it sits. There's like you go 100 feet farther by the highway, and it's always windy right there, it seems like.
This is a nice looking wide shot from Prezi, and look at that.
Wow, Presnell off to a birdie start. He just had this one handed to him in our practice round, this disc. Do you remember that? Somebody just
handed it to him?
Yeah, came up and just handed it to him.
I thought that was his disc that he left behind. It was just a gift?
No, I don't know. Maybe it was. I thought that they had like found it or something, and he hadn't had it since, or he needed a backup or something. I don't know what I'm talking about. It wasn't even windy out there.
What? Ricky with the wide forehand.
I don't know where I am.
That had good ground play and rolled up to about 18 feet away. It was a good approach. Parker would love to get a birdie here to bounce back. This one's heading pretty deep though. Yeah, not too bad. And a little bit low for Albert. I've always found that this hole produces a lot of swirly wind, just the way that it's coming up the hill. A nice delivery for Parker. And Ricky slows it down, the pace much more acceptable here for his birdie on 2. And Albert will tap that one in, and we still haven't got to Prezi's drive.
Yeah, that was a bomb drive.
I mean, his. Okay, you know what I meant.
I do. They do too.
It's his second drive. Did he throw a driver?
Yeah, one that he lost that he never
exactly.
did. Exactly. So he left behind.
He drove it to the green. It's only 6 players with the 2 under start. And Andrew Presnell is one of them. On to hole 3. Downhill. Feels like a bonus birdie type of hole. 466 feet. The high, wide sidearm hyzer is going to be a play thrown by, I'm guessing, at least 3 of the guys on the card. Probably not Presnell. He'll more than likely be going the route that we're going to see here from Calvin.
I'm always so jealous of the way Calvin throws this hole.
The gap looks huge.
Every year, but
this needs to slow down.
Oh, still jealous.
Yeah, well, it hangs on and stays barely in bounds, and Calvin Heimberg is now 3 under.
And look at that flag. You're right. There's nothing going on. I think that the wind just followed me the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I've said this before, you catch a bad tee time.
Catch a bad tee time, and just throughout the day, you're dealing with it.
You get the bad gusts.
There's no fault of your own by any means, but it stayed
so
with
funny.
you. It Follows, I believe, is the name of the movie.
Presnell.
Look at that drive. The dude is rolling right now. This momentum wave is just awesome.
Smoked.
It's just there's so much speed and spin, and it has the right height to allow it to get all the way down there. It's just incredible. You come play this hole in person and try to get a forehand there on all hyzer. Good luck to you.
Does this have the power?
It's Parker Welck. It's going to get in the circle.
Oh, man, you ain't lying. See, his was like lower and looked a little sawed off, but he has a little bit more zip on it.
He's got a lot of the zip. And this guy may be the zippiest of them all.
Oh, goodness, this is too far. Oh, I was kidding.
No, you're not.
Get in bounds.
Threw it the slowest and still went long. 466, folks. Yes, downhill, but still just absolute monster arm. And for par, what a good looking putt.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If he wanted to take that basket with him, locked and everything,
He could just pull it out of the ground.
He could just grab it.
Yeah, just easily. Pull it right out of the ground. And he could eat like a hamburger with the other hand.
Yeah, like maybe a slightly aggressive like shake, and then just pulls it out. Like you're like, whoa, was that like aggressive? And then he just grabs it.
Andrew Presnell, he is 3 under through 3. What a start. Yeah. You hate to see those not go in. I mean, because it is a coin flip on whether or not those stay. And that one just did not stay. And Ricky doing that thing that we give him a lot of credit for when he's putting well, he is able to make adjustments. And after his heavyweight putt on hole 1 that was too high, the next 2 putts from a similar distance have been a lot softer, a little bit lower, making the adjustment, and he's got 2 birdies because of it. 3 players, 3 under through 3.
Yeah, baby, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Your dynamic disc open champion, Parker Welck.
On to hole 4. Fun par 3 here. There's a couple of routes. There's the pretty scary down the middle route with the fairway driver has to be low laced, and everyone else is going to be going forehand around the outside, big high hyzer. But this shot is so much more demanding for Andrew.
It's kind of fits his shot shape though. Little Anheuser, yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh boy, that is as good as they make them, Jerm.
That is really outrageously good.
Is he ever gonna stop birdieing?
I don't know. I hope not.
Same.
Ricky going big hyzer.
Go in. Oh, I was kidding. What?
Ricky Wysocki slams it nearly as good as you possibly can.
Oh my gosh.
Watch this from the catch cam, Paul. Look how low this goes in the chains. I don't know how that doesn't stay.
Brutal.
At the same time, it's coming in so fast, it's hard to imagine it staying, but it also should have.
Could have, yeah.
Easily could have stayed in. So
Go in. I don't know.
Oh, this one's a little softer, so it might stay. Okay, no, just checks up.
Perfectly.
But man, Ricky already with 2 shots that have gone into center, hit the pole and come out in the first 4 holes. And this is going to need a skip off the green.
I think he's past the green.
And perfect.
It just gets there so fast. I thought the same thing.
Let's
But then
run
all
this.
of a sudden it like sped up.
It's just so wide, and he just didn't have the same height that Ricky or Parker had. But boing, right over the OB wall.
Wow.
Into bullseye.
See, I thought he cleared it. I didn't know he skipped it.
It
off
was
the
close.
green.
It's a good thing he didn't get closer to clearing it because
Yeah.
it would have hit the wall and stayed OB. Oh, man, you didn't see that one coming.
No.
I mean, certainly a tester distance with the wind blowing, but
See, this is what I was a little bit more accustomed to seeing.
yeah, right.
More of like a heavy, gusty, breezy.
A heavy breeze,
Yeah, but it was like
just shy of gusty.
yeah,
right?
yeah, like the worst kind.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
like
a constant is fine. You can get a good read, but you even see Prez like he made a read and maybe he didn't get it right.
it just wasn't quite trusting how much height to put on it. Yeah, he has that nose up putt that he you know, it gives him a lot of length, and Ricky celebrating the birdie, but oh my goodness.
Look at everybody.
I know, even I love Andrew's reaction. Like, come on, just go in. So no one with a 4 for 4 start. Prezi would have been in a league of his own had that putt gone in. Still off to a great start though as we fly over hole 5.
Yeah, one of my favorite holes. This is a par 4, 675 up the hill, down the hill to start. I mean, this is just a great placement hole. 2-shotter, depends on how aggressive you want to get. Some of these guys might want to clear the ditch and go as far up the fairway as possible. That out of bounds sidewalk to the right really defines the fairway.
I'm kind of surprised to see Ricky doing this. In the past, he's gone for the big backhand distance shot, but ends up playing the layup sidearm.
Yeah, it just depends on how far up he gets, you know?
I just think that the number one thing on this hole is always you want to get into the tree line. Or do what Parker's doing here and skipping your way out to the right.
Yeah, that's a money spot right there.
Much better angle for the approach. Now we're going to see Albert give us the big boom shot.
Is it going to cut? Yeah, it's getting on that hyzer. That's nice.
What I loved about this shot was that at its most turned over, it was still inside the line of the sidewalk. So it never had a chance of going out of bounds and still got a ton of distance. It should be a fairly easy approach for Albert. And that's going to skip kind of in the center area, which...
Yeah, that's kind of the spot I was talking about, to where you're in no man's land. All the gaps are going to be small unless you want to go wide and high. This one's too tight, and it's in danger of hitting that tree and going out of bounds.
Bingo.
No. It seems like a bad break, but that's what happens.
That's what happens.
It's very rare you see somebody throw it that high
And
into
it
that
stays.
tree and it doesn't go out.
Yeah, it just hangs out over OB. Its widest limbs are hanging out.
Oh, no.
When have you ever? When was the last time you saw a throwing error that egregious from Ricky? It's been a decade for me.
What was that? Misrelease or something?
I'm not exactly sure what happened, because on the slow motion replay we saw earlier, it didn't look like he slipped. It just looked like a bad misrelease. It was very strange. Albert has played this very well. That's the benefit of going for the big tee shot. You save yourself any sort of worry of kicking out over the out of bounds with the limbs.
So this is another hole that on the green is typically very windy. We're not seeing it right now, but the basket probably doesn't know that they're putting it.
Well, it should be worried that Albert might come up and take it out of the ground.
That's true. I haven't seen it happen yet, so maybe word hasn't gotten around
Which part?
that Albert does that.
What Albert wants, Albert takes. And on this hole, he's taking a birdie. And Ricky Wysocki with bookend birdies here in the first 5.
Bogeys.
With birdies in the middle.
Yep.
Doing that thing that Ricky likes to do and avoid taking pars. He just seems to like bogeys more than pars, but he likes birdies a lot more than both of the other ones.
One thing about Albert's take through right there is there was 0 wobble. That's so rare.
Look at the Johnny McRae sighting right here, 3 under through 5. Always good to see Johnny McRae in the mix. Yeah, he rips through. It's pure athlete.
Yeah.
Pure athlete. That's really all you can say about Albert. Fly over hole 6. What you see is what you get. 339 feet, slightly uphill. It is blind. At least the basket is from the tee perspective, but fairly straightforward hole. That's about what you're looking to do off the tee.
Oh, this looks just absolutely perfect.
Didn't get a lot of skip.
Yeah.
Didn't get a lot of skip, but still fine. 26 feet away.
with that left to right crosswind that's kind of coming through the trees up there, like this has no chance of coming back. And this is what I mean. It was like a heavy wind. You know, it wasn't like a bunch, but it really affected it. Like you even saw Albert's, it was so high.
Yeah.
It didn't really get left.
No, it just kind of stalled and stopped right where it was.
The low beamer like this one.
Yep. This should get the
Yep.
boing, and then the boink,
Doink, doink.
doink, doink.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this hole, you're definitely looking for more of the boing, boing, doink, doink, and not so much the whoo, froof.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah.
And it's high enough. It's starting to work its way. How much skip does it get? A decent amount of skip.
Not too bad.
And
An annoying little tree in the way, but I think he might be able to manage from there.
Andrew,
Laying
from
her
back
up.
edge of C2, really the low ceiling, even with his nose up putt, there's just really not much chance to make it from back there. Solid. All right, we're officially off to a really good start here for Albert.
He's been playing fantastic golf in the last couple months.
Hi there. Parker Welck finds the birdie and gets himself back to even. And Ricky back into slinging him in there mode.
No pars.
No pars, not interested. And Presnell is interested in half and half so far with 3 birdies, 3 pars. That putt wasn't much different than Ricky's on hole 1, really, as far as the height goes.
I think he might have caught a little at the top, which helped him.
Maybe. And look at this, Johnny, one of the 5 players who have started out 4 under through the first 6 holes. Super cool to see. And we are flying over 7, which has a newly added out of bounds, quote unquote, fake leg here down at the bottom of the hill. You can see it with these flags. You have to either go 350 or full 415. Somewhere in between those two, you're going to find yourself out of bounds. So the decision has to be made, an intentional layup, or are you going full steam ahead with the low ceiling off the tee? It makes it difficult to get a ton of distance.
Yeah, I'm curious to see who... Okay, yeah, well, this is what I was curious to see, if Albert, having the big arm, didn't care.
Look at that.
You know, because of how far he throws.
Sure.
Like, nah, I don't care.
I mean, and he's got
Zooms
such a great controlled late turnover forehand with distance. I'm surprised to see him not take that, but you're not going to see Ricky lay up. This is full steam ahead. And this is nuked.
Wow.
I mean, all of 500.
Putter up.
Yeah. Or slower if he has something slower than that.
Parker's trying to take it all on.
Yeah, sure.
I guess that you just never know with him.
Well,
I didn't know if that was going over.
Yeah, right. I like that play because it still allows him to throw a nearly, I don't want to say full shot for him because he's got more distance than that, but it allows him to throw like a semi-full shot, and he doesn't have to necessarily throw as far as where we're going to have to see here from Albert. And a good gameplay there from Andrew.
I actually don't mind laying it up back here because it gives you more ceiling. You can throw it down.
Look at this one.
And
look at that.
You see what I mean? It actually creates, I think, is an easier shot than coming up, like running downhill than up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if you don't cross the ditch.
Well, you're gaining speed, and then you can get the skip. I feel like when you're down there, it doesn't skip as much or something. I don't know. I just had more success landing shorter than farther down.
And the gameplay is working out for our first 2 players, laying up short, and they're nearly both in bullseye.
I guess one thing...
And Parker, this is leaking left.
That it could be is the farther up you get, the shorter those gaps are on the right.
Mm-hmm.
To where they're ending into the gap a little bit bigger, you know?
And Ricky...
Yeah, putter.
Look at that. I mean, is he running it? I don't know. He said he doesn't like to run shots from that distance. He even said it on this very hole in our practice round, but that looked like he might have been trying to draw chains. Parker just give us a little shimmy shake after that miss. Is that what he did?
He did. He just shook it off. Shrugged it off.
I like that. That's what, if a dog ever experiences high levels of stress, you see them shake it out.
Now there's a gust. And he didn't care. He zinged it in there.
0 pars. Great approach for Albert. He's
scorching it officially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5 under through 7. And just one missed putt from the back edge of the circle on hole 2. And the out of bounds stroke on 3 after he threw it too long on a 466-foot par 3. So could very, very nearly playing a perfect front 9. What a perfect drive there from Ricky.
Johnny's not stopping.
Let's go, man. This is cool to see.
5 under through 7 for Johnny McRae.
One of the guys that's literally been doing it for, like 3 decades?
I think he's in his 50s now.
Oh, yeah. He
Like,
is.
well
Yes.
into his 50s,
Yeah.
which is...
He's been doing it for a really
Yeah.
long time. Yeah, hole 8, fun par 5 here. Just keep it in bounds on the tee shot. The second shot's really the important one here. You want to get somewhere near those trees in the middle or in the back middle of the fairway. From there, it's a pretty easy approach to get your birdie, but take a look here at Anthony Barella's 3rd shot. He's got 4 birdies in a row, and he is at 5 under. Anthony Barella's got to be on a lot of people's radars going into this tournament. The way this course sets up, it really seems to set up for his strengths. And there's been 2 Disc Golf Pro Tour events since his last win, so he's got to be really starving right now.
See if Albert can get this wide enough. Oh, he's going with a slow disc. I like that because his power forehand is so elite that from there, he can easily still get into position.
And the short tee shot play worked out for him in the last hole, so he clearly has a good game plan. Now, Ricky is pushing this left side OB and just barely checks up in time. Now, what I like about Ricky's more than Albert's, aside from the fact that it's a little bit farther, the angle of the hill really allows Ricky to bite more off on that next shot coming up.
This is a lot of trust from Presnell. Does he get the ground play? He does. A lot of people don't. Yeah, that's like a 30% chance.
It really
doesn't.
On a typical dry day where the grass isn't wet, I think that could just very well stay.
Oh, mama.
Yeah, there goes that man. And we're going to see him go full send from there. And that's just super ridiculous.
Wow. That's at the top.
And so Albert has a long way to go here on the next 2 throws.
See, look at this little zinger, though. This should be at the bottom, right? No, not quite.
He's got a ways to go. But the thing is, he's still in position. I like his angle a little bit better closer to the water once again, just because the limbs and the way that they create the next gap. But he's definitely in the fairway after 2 with a chance to get the birdie still.
This is kind of got to get down. That's fine. No, wait, no. Yeah. Close to it doesn't look like it's close, but it always catches up to you on that right side.
This hole took playing it for years to truly figure out what the aiming point in the background is. The first couple of years we were here, this thing was a nightmare for us. No one ever knew if their shot was going to be inbounds or out of bounds. And it's strange because there's a lot of space between the water and that sidewalk, but yet we just felt like we had no idea what we were doing once we crossed that hill.
And Presnell with a dime right there.
All right, Parker, he's going big, you know it. Didn't quite hanging out over the water long enough, or at least close to that edge, but he stays in bounds.
It looked like he had the power to get there, though, still.
I wouldn't doubt it. Low ceiling. It looks so good, Paul. Just the lowest branch away from coming home.
Yeah, no pars for this guy. Well,
No pars for this guy.
gotta wait. Gotta wait and see.
And that's how hole 8 should be played. Right there, Andrew Presnell with a clinic there and 3 very similar looking shots. Okay, I guess the tee shot was a little bit different, but the next 2 were pretty much the same.
That's a gimme birdie right there. He needs it.
Yeah, this front part of the round is really a great place to store up some birdies. And Albert's done a great job so far with 5 of them. He's going to miss the birdie here on 8, but secured himself a tap-in par. And Ricky makes sure to keep it a little bit right side this time. And birdies for Andrew.
They really played
And
this
Parker.
hole very well.
I mean, Albert was just, 2 inches away from having a star frame there.
And Parker was about 2 feet away from having maybe a look at the
Eagle look.
eags.
Burrell and Heimberg 6 under through the first 8. Oh my gosh, Paul. What a journey this hole can be.
Yeah. Well, it's just a little par 4.
Yeah.
Hit that gap, land exactly right here. If you don't, you're probably out of bounds left or right, the way the disc flies. Then you have to come around the corner, little bunker left of OB, and then bunker right, out of bounds the whole way. And this time it travels all the way into the circle, in fact. And
Crazy.
the way that you want to approach this green is usually with a 2-piece. If you're a righty that skips in there, they said, nope, we don't like that anymore.
No.
There's a little pocket right here that's out of bounds, so you have to have a little more touch than that. You're going to see this as a play for a lot of people. This is just a layup play. Put it in bounds, chuck it around the corner.
Love the play.
Yep. Get
Don't-
a par and bounce, because this is a par 5 now.
You do not
It plays
circle this
as.
hole and say, oh man, let's go for the 3 on hole 9. That's a legitimately smart thing to do. It's not.
Yeah. The only way you're going to really get a great look at birdie is if you have a monster forehand and you can get around the corner.
Yeah, from the shorter tee pad that we were playing last year, which is that tee pad you see right in front of these guys here, Parker overturning. Does it get fortunate? I don't believe so, no. So not only is that going to be out of bounds, it's going to be out of bounds at that bad angle. You could see backhands get to the corner before, but now I think you're right. I think forehand's the play, but you're worried about that OB on the right side.
Curious to see how far this is. So
Just stop talking about it, Paul. It's the best shot ever thrown on that hole.
whoa. Very surprising that people are that good.
Is that not outrageous?
That's ridiculous, Jerm.
And Parker, fortunately, puts enough behind it to avoid that out-of-bounds corner at the top of the hill. That finds a lot of people's errant approaches.
They did curl this out of bounds left a little bit on the left-hand side, so it goes
Okay.
up the hill,
Okay.
and it takes a peeling left
Okay,
turn.
that's
so
good.
you get more of a layup area, which is so bizarre to me, because if you want it to be the hardest par 4 in the world, then just keep the same line.
No, I like that they've given the players a little bit more forgiveness.
Same.
And you're going with a very aggressive shape for what he's trying to do, but I like it. He's way around the corner.
So now Albert needs to take this very wide. If he comes inside, which he's done,
Yes.
if he comes inside, no good. And he gets through
Wow,
everything.
and misses all the trees up by the basket. He's going to find himself just inside the circle. And he'll look for a very rare birdie on the 9th hole.
Yeah, valuable. Gaining lots of strokes on lots of people.
Yeah,
I didn't see
yeah.
a lot of people land in bounds off the tee here.
Oh, no, it's not easy to do. Parker looking to get up and down. Finish the front. Oh, my goodness. He's trying to make it.
Remember his little tree kick?
Yeah.
He wanted
But that
to
was
do it
like
again.
3 times the distance. That was so far away.
Well done, Ricky. He
Look at
finally
that.
gets a par.
He's going to get a par on the 9th hole.
I mean, this is playing over par for sure, but
Oh,
is
yeah.
it playing?
Yes.
Oh, great birdie. Is it playing as a par 5?
No, I mean it's 4.51 average.
Okay.
So it's
Dude.
playing as an easy par 5,
Yeah.
but a hard par 4, which is really what it is. It's very, very difficult to get into. The only way that you can get there in 2 is if you have thrown a backhand to the nearing the sidewalk edge and give yourself a good angle, or if you throw a forehand 500 feet with the most beautiful late turn. The shot shape is what's so impressive about that distance with Albert Thompson's tee shot. Really was the best tee shot you can imagine on the hole. And with that, he ties Calvin Heimberg as the hot front 9 at 6 under. His mistakes were small, and he was out there just scorching the front 9.
Yeah, that's doing everything you have to do. He even missed a putt, like you said, but it looks like he got a lot of practice in, and he has a great game plan for that front 9. If he has a similar game plan on the back 9, very shreddable with his distance.
Out.
Yeah.
Well, this is probably the most scoreable conditions that we're going to see this weekend. There's some nasty looking weather coming on Saturday. Maybe it might be a little bit nicer on Sunday, but if you want to go low, today's the day to do it. Can we see double digits on the back 9? We got a couple players who've done more than half the work here on the front. Thank you so much for watching the front 9 here, first round. I want to thank you, the Founders Club, for supporting Jomez and us, and we appreciate you, and we will list your names forevermore here at the end of our rounds because we appreciate you so much.
We just like the Founders Club a lot, and one of the things about it is sometimes when we see your names, it gets us excited.
That's true, and we'll see you on the back 9.